Mick Jagger's infamously tiny todger after X branded it smallest penis alive.
Judy Finnegan, 75, enjoys the lunch date with her chivalrous husband Richard Madeley, 67, as he leaves a Hampstead restaurant carrying a handbag.
Foul play. Lingerie-clad Christine McGuinness is stunned after a duck poos on her patio while she's feeding it bread. Hello and welcome to Barely Contained, the online celebrity journalism podcast which has been frozen out of its Midland bank account for its controversial political views by the Griffin itself. I'm Matt Withers and I'm joined, as ever, by Chris Beckett.
Hi, Matt. God, I'm furious about those bankers, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely I am. How dare they? How very dare they? How are we doing?
I'm all right. Yeah, all I want to do is just get those bankers in a room and punch out all their bowler hats one by one.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll whip them with their own umbrellas.
But yes, I'm fine. How's things with you?
I am pretty good. Thank you very much, Chris. But I'm very much looking forward to seeing what the UK's websites have served up in terms of online celebrity journalism this month.
Yeah, well, it is famously the so-called silly season for journalism. So you can imagine the sort of quality that we are having to deal with.
Yes, indeed, it is the silly season. Or as I found out in the German media, it's referred to as the pickled gherkin season. But I've yet to find out why that is.
Okay.
Yeah, so come to Barely Contained for half the facts.
Nice.
Well, I've got a story for you, Chris, about a gentleman who just recently celebrated his 80th birthday. And I think this is a wonderful present to him.
Wow. I hope it's a national treasure.
It most certainly is. This comes from the Daily Star online, and it's headlined, Mick Jagger's infamously tiny todger after X branded it smallest penis alive.
Wow. We're starting off as we mean to continue.
Yeah, we're starting low. So it's got the subhead, as the Rolling Stone icon celebrates his 80th birthday, the Daily Star looks into all of the times he's been slammed for having a small manhood by his old mates and ex-partners.
What a tribute to this icon.
What a way to celebrate his 80th birthday. Oh, so it goes, Mick Jagger's manhood has been the topic of conversation more than once over his 80 years on the planet.
More than once? What's the range? Between 1 and 8,000?
I must confess, it's the first time I've ever had a conversation about it. I didn't realise that this was such a conversation point.
Well, I mean, maybe we're not the right generation. I mean, normally we're too old, but in this case, maybe, if we were back in the 60s, we'd have been talking about it all the time.
No, it is good to have a rare story that we are too young to fully understand. There's very few of those about. So it goes on. As he celebrates 8 decades on Earth, we take a look at all the times his penis has been publicly shamed.
Publicly shamed? I mean, be careful not to make any kind of criminal allegations here.
One time, his ex-girlfriend and I'm a Celeb star Janice Dickinson blasted the size of his manhood, saying he has, quotes, the smallest penis alive.
Wow. In no way does Janice Dickinson sound like a woman scorned.
No. And also, she kind of anthropomorphizes it a little bit, doesn't she?
Yeah. I mean, as well as this, without being too nitpicky, it's probably his 9th decade on Earth, isn't it?
Oh, he would be entering. Is he? Yes. Yeah. No. Oh no. I'm gonna have to get. No. I'd have to get a pen and paper to work this out. I think you're correct. I think you're technically correct. Yeah.
I mean, the main thing is he's got a small penis, but
yeah. I mean, essentially, this is the crux of this story. Really, we don't need to get tied down by maths. Janice dated the singer in the 80s and told the Daily Star, he's a nasty little Sir Mick with a little dick. It is very little.
She's, dissed by haiku.
It's very close, isn't it? Is it? No, it's not quite. But she worked on it. She could have something there.
Yeah.
She added of the singer who dumped her over the phone, "I will scorn him for the rest of my life."
Wow.
God.
I mean, that's that's not what you want, really.
No, I tell you what, do not dump Janice Dickinson by phone. I mean, didn't Phil Collins infamously divorce somebody by fax? I don't know, what we might learn about the size of his drumsticks.
Yeah.
One of the longest running partnerships in rock and roll also took a rude turn, as Keith Richards also vilified Mick for the same reasons.
Vilified him. God, this is, it's really cutting quite deep.
It really is a very odd way to mark his birthday, isn't it?
Yeah.
The Rolling Stones guitarist also mocked the size of the singer's genitals, and the pair fell out in 2005 over it.
Wow, you can just imagine two of them in their early 60s. Right, finally.
I've got something to get off my chest about you.
Gone too far.
Still, they've had another 18 years of playing together. They just must have agreed, not to speak about this.
Yeah, like this time for the set list, the in-between song banter, let's not mention manhoods.
Yeah. It does actually say, it goes on, Keith claimed he hadn't stepped into Mick's dressing room for 20 years in his new autobiography titled Life. He wrote, Marianne Faithfull had no fun with his tiny Todger. I know he's got an enormous pair of balls, but it doesn't quite fill the gap.
I mean, yeah, there's a fundamental problem going on there.
Wow. This is quite something. Actress and Mick's ex-partner from 1966 to 1970, Marianne Faithfull, also confirmed the rumours are nearly true. Nearly in speech marks. Nearly true. That's a weird one. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to speculate on which part of that might be true or not. When asked if Keith's comments were true, Marianne said, "Not quite, but nearly." A bit of a politician's answer there by Faithfull. Yeah, even in those days, they were getting media training on this very specific issue. If this comes up, then that's not the term I meant to use. But if somebody asked you about this, just straight back this one. Yeah, get someone to say it in the House of Commons. Yeah. At the time, the band's tour was jeopardized as Mick was allegedly furious with Keith's comments from his book in a subsequent interview. A source said, Mick read Keith's book before publication and didn't have any great problem with it. It was the fact that it was all dredged up in the interview afterwards that really upset him. Many believe this is the real reason why talks in relation to the tour have broken down. Oh, glad it was something serious. Yeah. Oh, gosh. Imagine if you spent £200 on your Hyde Park ticket and they weren't available to play because he had a falling out about his Todger. How do they know anyway? How are they? Do the Rolling Stones share a shower after gigs like footballers do? Maybe. I mean, you can imagine in their early days, perhaps. Yeah, perhaps. They'd all have to go in, share the same bottle of Dove shower gel. Very awkward. All very awkward. I have to say, I don't know about you, but I'm quite surprised that the Daily Star haven't done a sort of top 10 Rolling Stones hits, based around penis puns. Oh, yes. Oh, no. Don't think I'm going to do it off the top of my head, and I feel it would be quite inappropriate. Yeah. Marianne may have seemed reasonably satisfied with Mick as a lover, but one thing she wasn't happy with was the lack of credit she received in helping to make the band a success. When asked if Mick was selfish by Classic Rock magazine, Marianne said, "No comment, but it would be unrealistic to expect him to share. He isn't like that." Now, I would say, Chris, that is the perfect definition of selfish. Yes. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty dictionary. Yeah, and that's the end of that. So really, it does say all the times he's been slammed for having a small manhood, but it's only It's two and a bit, if that's not the wrong thing to say.
Yeah, two and a bit. It's an allegation by Keith Richards that he, perhaps doesn't quite know how to have sex properly.
Oh God. Oh, we're gonna have to tick the explicit content box for Apple on this one, aren't we?
Afraid so.
Yeah. Just a few comments on the website. I'm the man says he can have a few inches off mine. Mike, very generous of I'm the man. Mike Essex 4 says it's not the size that matters, is it, lads? What not to say? He says he's done really well with it in that case. But who really cares? It's only the shallow-minded and irrelevant persons that go on and on and on. They wouldn't be mentioning it if they were waking up alongside him and his millions every day.
They shouldn't go on and on, says the person who left by far the longest comment.
Yeah. And Sunnyland said, I read years back it was 3.5 inches. So Sunnyland has read something with the specifics. Maybe it's his Wikipedia entry.
Yeah. I think people are confusing, the importance of, penile length in songwriting as well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's ever been any academic research done into this. Perhaps you are a barely contained listener who has been struggling for something to write your music PhD on. One to consider, perhaps.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Now, Chris, that was pretty off-putting stuff. So do you have something a little more homely for us to enjoy?
Hey, do I? Right, now going across to the Daily Mail online, we have a story of a lovely couple. Judy Finnegan, 75, enjoys a lunch date with her chivalrous husband, Richard Madeley, 67, as he leaves a Hampstead restaurant carrying a handbag.
Oh, lovely stuff. I feel that this is absolutely what we need to wallow in after that previous filth.
Yeah. Although, without being slightly cruel, my first thought upon reading that headline is, I hope they settle the bill.
Come on, that was a long time ago. I think that conviction is spent.
Judy Finnegan and her husband Richard Madeley were spotted enjoying a lunch date at an Italian restaurant in London's Hampstead on Thursday afternoon.
Oh, smashing.
Yeah. The couple, who've been married for 37 years, were spotted walking arm in arm after leaving Villa Bianca in the Leafy neighbourhood.
Oh, Leafy neighbourhood. Lovely little cliche there.
Yeah. Richard, 67, appeared every inch the chivalrous husband as he carried Judy's Michael Kors handbag while making their way back to their VW Beetle.
Well, make sure you give it back, Richard.
Exactly. Yeah. And Mick, every inch.
Yeah. Yes. Sorry, I didn't get that little call back initially.
It was very sophisticated. Judy, 75, opted for daytime glamour in a black top and trousers, which she styled with a pair of platform trainers and a gold necklace.
Yep, it's pretty glamorous.
Yeah. The TV presenter wore her blonde hair loose and wore a full face of makeup for their meal out together. Meanwhile, Richard looked dapper in a white t-shirt, which he layered with a blazer and a pair of blue slim-fitting jeans and boots.
Yep, he's dressed, I would say, like every man of his age. Actually, no. Is he a little bit more stylish, perhaps, than your average 67-year-old?
I'd say so, yeah. Yeah. I always think it's very strange the way, putting, one piece of clothing on top of another. It's described as layering.
Yeah. He put the blazer over the t-shirt rather than kind of having one over one shoulder and one over the other.
Yeah. As well as carrying Judy's bag, Richard also toted a brown leather satchel under his arm and juggled his phone and keys.
Now, this conjures up a picture of me of him standing in the middle of the street going... I
was going to say, is this Hampstead or Covent Garden?
I mean, that is the sort of thing I'd expect Richard Madeley to do if he thought that camera was trained upon him.
Yeah, he's not publicity shy.
No, he'd be like, let them see another one of my little talents.
Following their intimate lunch, Richard and Judy were spotted getting into their cream car and heading off.
Yeah, it's what you do after your lunch.
It's not sort of almost like a children's story.
Yeah, yeah. It is, isn't it? Essentially, the story is that a married couple had lunch and then went home.
Yeah, I mean, not to put too fine a point on it. But, Matt, it comes after Richard revealed his wife, Judy Finnegan, is sleeping in the spare room on Good Morning Britain.
Ooh.
I didn't even know that Good Morning Britain had a spare room.
Oh, boom tish.
The TV presenter explained how Judy, 74, was forced to leave their bedroom because of a mouse.
What, a mouse? Wow. So this really is entering the written by a child story.
Where? There on the stair? Speaking to co-host Charlotte Hawkins about the pest problem, Richard said, I was saying earlier that Judy is now sleeping in the spare room because we've got this mouse in the bedroom now. It sounds like he basically accepted it. There's not any real push to get it to leave.
No.
It comes out from the bed at about 11 p.m. every night on the dot, virtually to the second.
Love a punctual mouse.
Wow, I could just imagine Richard Madeley. Oh, yep, 11:01.
Yeah. People say to him, Richard, why don't you do something to get rid of it? And he's saying, because I'm currently setting my watch by it.
He says, I've set traps and I put boxes out and a lot of people are saying peanut butter. But I've tried peanut butter and it stinks. A bit harsh.
It is a bit harsh. I think that would have been the headline of the story for me. Richard Madeley launches attack on peanut butter.
I mean, is he a crunchy or a smooth man?
He's a smooth man, Madeley.
Charlotte then revealed Sir Lindsay Hoyle, the Speaker of the House of Commons, brought his cat to Downing Street to scare off the mice.
I wasn't expecting to see Hoyle get a mention in this story.
Well, exactly. She explains he's brought his cat, Atlee, down to do this. The Speaker said Atlee has been going around to check there were not any mice around, and there were absolutely none. So you need to have a word with Sir Lindsay Hoyle and say, can you borrow Atlee for the day? Richard quipped, apparently he's an ace mouser. Thank you very much indeed.
Is he, though? Because there's no indication that Atlee has got rid of the mice. He's just gone around and checked if there were any around, and there were none. If he came around to Madeley's place and he saw a mouse and they'd say, well, can you get rid of it? He'd go, no, I've never got this far. I've only got as far as checking. I'm not quite sure what to do when I come across one.
Yeah, I mean, he's a mouse with clearly a good PR agent.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, I mean, again, as usual, a very low bar for the verb to quip.
Yes.
So, Matt, play us out with something, uplifting.
Well, I certainly have that for you. This is also from the Daily Mail Online, and it's headlined, Foul Play. Lingerie-clad Christine McGuinness is stunned after a duck poos on her patio while she's feeding it bread.
Well, that's no way to respond to that act of kindness.
So, yeah, I guess a little bit of jollity to end with this month. It begins, Christine McGuinness was left in shock after a duck unexpectedly pooed on her sprawling patio while she was feeding it bread.
Sprawling patio?
I don't know what that means.
Is that really necessary?
No. Big, large patio?
Yeah.
I don't know, unless it's actually growing. Posting the hilarious throwback clip on Instagram, the model, 35, could be seen bending down and breaking off small pieces of food to feed the bird.
Good grief. So this isn't even a news story. It's like, remember, when you get that notification from your phone, oh, remember 3 years ago, here's that amusing picture you took of your cat.
Yeah.
Basically this, only a story on a national newspaper website.
Yeah. Also, public information, I'm pretty certain that you're not supposed to feed ducks bread, are you?
Oh, yeah, that's a good call.
Yeah, so, be less Christine. Just a serious moment. I believe that ducks find bread quite difficult to digest, which is probably why this hilarious accident has occurred.
Well, yeah.
All was going well with the little duck waddling around the doting mother's garden while pecking at the bread until the blonde bombshell turned to address the camera. In the background, the unfortunate incident could be seen taking place. As Christine told her followers, I was literally just doing... Cut off mid-sentence, the star turned back around to see the mess the creature has made all over a concrete patio before bursting into laughter.
Oh, I wonder what she was literally just doing.
Well, we'll never know. We'll never know thanks to this errant mallard. Finding the mishap hilarious, Christine then burst into laughter, exclaiming, "Oh my God."
Yeah, checks out.
Yeah. Yeah, the video's there to see, people.
Yeah.
There's evidence out there. The beauty put on quite the display for her day with nature, opting for a tight-fitting black lingerie bodysuit.
Day with nature.
They feeding a duck in a back garden. Still,
I saw a blackbird. That's the nature day for me.
Yeah. A tight-fitting black lingerie bodysuit. That's what I guess one would wear to feed the ducks.
Yeah, I'd say so.
It gets a bit odd here, really. She put on a busty show in the racy number, which featured a low-rise neck and lacy cutouts along the side.
I mean, there could be ducklings present.
Yeah, this is
Put them away.
Yeah. She wore her bright blonde hair loose and typically glamorous, cascading past her shoulders. Captioning the post on her stories, she revealed the clip was indeed a throwback, penning on this day, the 7th of the 9th, 2021.
We shall always remember.
Yeah, so the evidence is there, like the stamp on a CCTV camera. September 2021, were we allowed to feed ducks then, or did we have to keep 2 meters? I can't remember what the rules were back then.
Yeah, it's difficult. I think maybe if the duck was known to your family.
Yeah. Or I think if you were feeding it a Scotch egg, I seem to recall that was okay.
Yeah. You'd included it in your circle.
Yeah, in your bubble.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for.
If the duck was in your bubble, you could feed it a Scotch egg. I think those were the rules. It comes after Christine proved she and Paddy are the friendliest of exes, as they both attended their children's sports day together last week.
Yeah, I mean, really, they should introduce the fact that she's married or was married to Paddy McGuinness before they just mentioned Paddy.
Yes,
but that's another thing.
I guess they assume the entire world is aware of this. Very much the Charles and Diana Denosure, I guess.
Mm.
The couple who announced their separation a year ago are parents to Penelope, 9, and twins Felicity and Leo, 7. Christine shared a slew of pictures to her Instagram to showcase the special day. Don't hear the word slew enough these days, do you?
You don't.
Donning a black puffer coat and beige cap to shelter her from the rain, the model took cover under an umbrella as she cheered on her brood. In another image, she grasped a hot drink and a toastie to keep warm.
This is a very glamorous sports day.
It is a very glamorous sports day. And to be honest, it then goes on in great detail around the sports day. And to be honest, Chris, I'm only interested in the duck.
Well, exactly, yeah. I mean, we need to keep that, front and centre.
Just have a little look at the comments here. What I Think UK backs up what we were saying, Chris. What I Think UK says, bread is so bad for ducks, she needs to educate herself. Tanya, 12, in Liverpool, says, is she actually going to get dressed at any point this year? Yawn. And Auto Cruiser in London says, why? It is naturally what they do. Our local duck pond is cleaned each week because they do what we all do.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Lovely stuff. Well, Chris, I think that's probably a good point at which to end this month's podcast. But I think you, me, and all the listeners have had a lot of fun.
Absolutely, Matt. But hey, what if people wanted to get just a little bit more?
Well, what I say first, Chris, is the best thing to do is subscribe to us on your podcatcher of choice, be that Apple or Google or Spotify or Amazon or whatever floats your boat, whatever you're currently listening to this on. Subscribe, give it a rating, maybe a little review, and it'll pop up in your podcatcher on the first of each month as a little kind of it's like it'd be like Santa's bin, but once a month rather than once a year. What about the social environment, Chris? If people are on the social medias, where would you point them?
Well, I would say you could go to X as it's called now, formerly known as Twitter, and check us out at barely_pod.
Yeah.
And find out all manner of content there, or on Facebook, maybe Barely Contain the Podcast.
And Chris, can people find us on Threads?
No.
No, they cannot find us on Threads. So we will be back on, my word, September the 1st. Isn't this year ticking by quickly?
It really is. Yeah.
So we'll see you then, by which point it will be autumn. So yes, we'll be back September the 1st. Just leave to say thank you very much to Chris Beckett.
Thank you, Matt Withers.
And thank you, listener, for downloading us and giving us a listen this month. And we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.